it's one of the things that I learned from watching Bourdain's original show, the No Reservation show, and that it changed my opinion on things, because I didn't have a strong opinion on food before that, other than that I really liked it. I didn't think of it as an art form. And watching his show and seeing the passion, his appreciation for food and for the way it's grown and brought to table, and the production of it, and then ultimately the flavor of it and the taste, and his admiration for chefs and you guys as well. His admiration for it and his appreciation for the way everything's put together made me realize, like, oh, this is an art form.
It's a craft. And you know, Tony did something. Tony was the most faithful, we were so lucky to be on that ship with him, you know, that he took us aboard. And you could see he had the same apprenticeship we did, you know, like suffering in like big bistro kitchens and stuff. And you think about it, the guy, he didn't make the promise to himself that when he'd get rich and famous, he was going to buy a big house and not talk to people. He helped every cook not walk out of the kitchen and get famous, but get a voice, you know?
Well, even outside of the television show, the work he did in private is massive.
And not look like a dirty guy that makes the pasta in the back, you know? All of a sudden, it's like, yeah, the manager in the suit and the owners, but who's the guy in the back?
Yeah.
You know?
No, he had appreciation for everybody, and he had a real passion for the process.
Yeah, and the marginal characters, you know, there's lots of commercial restaurants in the city of Montreal, in any given city that he went to. And he's able to isolate, let's say, the marginal characters in every city that, we're historically bound, kind of. Fred and I practice a weird faction of French cooking called cuisine bourgeoise, and only kind of Tony and a handful of other guys could look at what we do and go, oh, those fuckers, they're up to that. No one's up to that.
He curated his crew.
You guys are into that,
misfit,
really. He goes, you guys are the only people, like the last of the Mohicans, that do this kind of food. And we know, no, we can't stop. We got to keep on.
What a great guy to get it, too.
Yeah, because nobody does, right? Nobody understands, the rabbit hole we're down. Tony did.
Yeah, the cognoscente. Yeah, he really did deeply influence my appreciation for food, the way I think about it. And again, treating it as an art form, which I just thought it was just delicious. I didn't think of it as like, oh, these guys are making temporary art. They're making art that you're gonna enjoy now, you know. And you can't put it on film. I mean, you can, but you're not gonna get it all. You're just gonna want to go out and experience it.
Yeah, ultimately, food is, you can't. We go and do we're asked to do demonstrations, you know. You can go on a big stage, it's 5,000 people to talk about food, or make little crackers with smoked salmon on stage. Food is not fit for a stage.
No.
Food is for a table for us to enjoy, you know, with a fork, a knife. We talk about it. We go hunting. That's what food is.
People offer us food shows all the time, and I mean, I can't. It doesn't work.
And it's like, what's the concept? Yeah. Well, you guys can be in a pickup truck, and you go and visit your suppliers, and maybe you have a bottle of wine with them after. I was like, dude, we worked hard not to copy our fellow, culinarians.
Yeah, you look at our food, it's like it's ours. It's not...
TV producers are out there just blatantly proposing the previous show to you again, you know?
Yes. Well, that's one of the things right after Anthony died. There was some talk about Gordon Ramsay doing some very similar show, and the outcry against it was enormous. I mean, he was just getting assaulted online. I mean, it was crazy.
Everybody that I was talking to, our agent who represents us for our book, and she was saying it was the same. All the big production companies are being berated by people pitching who's going to be the next Tony, right?
I don't want to say that, but one of the character and you guys, and you could take over.
Yeah, you could do it.
Because you guys, the way he went in West Virginia, and it wasn't Republican, Democrat. He went to places, and he's like, yeah, sure, I have my views, but let's break bread, you know? And I always said that all our countries are divided on issues, but there's nobody that overlaps them with a coherent vision.
Everybody
and
loves each
there's-
other when there's delicious food on the table, man.
Yeah.
You know?
And guys
Yeah.
like you with like a clear view and a rational and science-based and evidence-based view on things, and like Tony, just have such a voice now in our countries that I could see you doing a food show.
I
And-
love food, but I'll never do a food show. I just can't imagine.
No,
But
because
but I
you
love
ask good
watching them.
questions.
I like doing shows. I mean, I love having guys like you on and talking about food, but it takes a special type of person to want to travel 300 days a year, you know, and that's essentially what Tony was doing. And I think that has a massive toll. It takes a massive toll on your body. It takes a massive toll on your psyche. I
Your
don't.
family, everything.
Yes, it's not healthy. I don't.
There's not enough melatonin or like CBD or like
No, it's not enough in the
cleanses
world.
to
No.
help you with that.
I travel more than enough already, and I've cut my traveling way back. I'm down to only 10 UFCs a year now, and I do, you know, comedy around that and stand-up comedy. But I consciously make the effort to travel much less because I just don't think it's good. I just don't think it's good for you, and also that road life. You know, the drinking and all that other stuff that comes with it, that accentuates all the problems that you have with travel. And I think that's also one of the things that was dragging Tony down when he would talk about the sadness and the loneliness of being on the road. I can't help but, from knowing him and partying with him, I can't help but have thought that a lot of that was probably accentuated by the alcohol consumption. And you know, and you guys could speak
Sure.
to that now that you're clean and you're not experiencing those rugged hangovers every morning.
I was always worried for Tony that way, just that, you know, that hotel living,
Yeah.
planes, trains, and automobiles constantly. And it wasn't like for a year. It was like for
Hey, it's
12 years,
It's a
man.
sad life, to watch river monsters at 11 in the morning burping Jameson. And I'm referring to many occasions in our lives where you're traveling in a hotel room and you're in a beautiful place, but like it just,
You feel weird.
yeah.
Yeah, I've taken steps to mitigate some of that. One of the big ones is I travel with friends. I bring really good comics to work with me on the road, so that when I'm in these cities with friends, and we just go. It's like they're family, so we go. We'll go eat together. We'll go work out together, you know, and try to keep the unhealthy shit to a minimum.